Shalom. First, I want to give all honor and glory, praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah HaKadosh, and double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone for whom I learned this truth. And shalom to the 144,000 elect. I am Ayakala, and I'm going to call this Worldliness is Unprofitable. And I just have a few precepts that I'm going to, a few definitions. So this probably won't take very long, but just something that was on my mind this morning. And that word worldliness, I'm going to look that up into Google just to get a definition of it, what worldliness is. All right, and this is according to Google. Worldliness, it says the quality of being experienced and sophisticated. I'm gonna look at definition 2. It says concern with material values or ordinary life rather than spiritual existence. So that's more of the definition that I'm gonna be paying attention to as I do this lesson. So worldliness. Before coming into the truth and discovering the men of great millstone who present the 100% truth, I was in the world, very worldly. As a matter of fact, you can say I guess, with the things that I was concerned with, women, clothes, trying to get a fancy car, going to clubs and going to bars and drinking, doing all these things that pertain more so to the world than pertaining to any kind of spiritual growth. I guess you could say that I was pretty shallow-minded because I didn't really think about the inner man. I was more concerned about what my appearance was like and how many women I could chase after. I want to look that word up too, shallow, according to Google. It says, according to Google, shallow is a lack of physical depth. It's a lack of depth of character, insight, or serious thought. And I would say that was described me to a T, because I was just concerned about the outward man and not concerned about what was going into me, what was going to build me up. I guess especially in our younger years, we're concerned so much about that outward appearance, and you don't realize that once you get into your older years, that outward appearance fades, and it's what's on the inside, what you build up spiritually, remains forever as long as you remain in this word, in this 100% truth. As a matter of fact, you could say I was kind of one who was just kind of putting on a show for the world. And that kind of reminds me of back as a youth, my stepmother talking to me about how the world is a stage, and however you present yourself is how people will perceive you. So I kind of want to look that up too, where the world is a stage, what that means. What that phrase means according to Google. It says a phrase, all the world's a stage, is a metaphor popularized by William Shakespeare in his play As You Like It. It means that life can be seen as a play with people taking on different roles and acting them out. each person has their entrances and exits, their beginnings and their endings, and they play multiple parts throughout their lives, much like actors on a stage. And you come to know, after coming into this truth, that yeah, you might want to portray a certain image, but the Most High knows exactly what you are. He knows what you are spiritually, because he knew you before you even came into this world. And as a matter of fact, if you want to look at this world being a stage, the Most High wrote the script for everybody. He wrote everybody's part, so he knows exactly what your lot will be, what you will be made of, what you'll be made up of in this world. He knows if you're going to be a protagonist or an antagonist of his. Let's see, it says life as a play. It says the core idea is that human existence is a performance, with individuals playing various roles throughout their lives. It says these roles can be defined by age, profession, relationships, or social standing. And it says, and Shakespeare here even has 7 stages of man. Now, I don't want to get too much off of the topic, but I want to read a few of these. It says, in the play, Shakespeare uses the metaphor to describe the different stages of human life, from infancy to old age. So I want to look at these 7 ages of men. It says the first role or stage is that of an infant or baby. The baby cries and whines before vomiting in the arms of his nurse. It says in the second stage of life, a man plays the role of a small boy or child. He holds a school bag, has a shiny face, and walks as slowly as he can because he does not like school and is reluctant to leave home. Then comes the role of the lover, is the third stage of life. He is a young and foolish and falls passionately in love, singing a sad song about love in which he describes the beauty of a girl's eyebrows. So this must be a specific play that Shakespeare did. It says in the fourth stage of his life, the man plays the role of a soldier. He has a beard, swears oaths, and is ambitious to seek out honor. He is so keen to improve his reputation, he is willing to risk dangers such as cannons in the war. So yeah, this is definitely describing the 7 ages or stages of a man that was in one of his plays. So I'm not even going to read all of those, but I am going to bring out just a few precepts that I have about how worldliness is unprofitable to man, to the Israelite man. Because we know that this is, in this world, the Israelite man, this is not our rest. This is not our kingdom. Let me see if I can find that. Not one I planned on bringing out, but since I mentioned it. Give me 1 minute here. See, that's not what I wanted. bear with me just a minute. See if I can't find this. This is one that I really should know by heart without having to look it up. But I am a novice at this, meaning I'm a beginner, so give me a minute and I should be able to find it. Let's see here. I might have to come back to it because I got a whole lot of entries here and it's kind of I don't want to take too long. All right, anyway, I ain't gonna hold this up. I'm gonna go ahead and maybe I'll be able to come back to it. But the first precept that I want to bring out is Ecclesiastes 2:11. Before I go there, I just want to go to get the meaning of Ecclesiastes according to Compact Bible Dictionary, the Zondervan. And it says Ecclesiastes means preacher. It says this is one of the most perplexing books in the Bible. The Solomonic authorship, now generally rejected, can still be maintained on the following grounds. One who calls himself the preacher is described as King David's son and as king in Jerusalem. This same person designates himself as collector of proverbs, a description that obviously fits Solomon. I'm not going to read that whole definition because it's kind of long. So this is King Solomon. He did author this book. And like I said, we're going to go to Ecclesiastes 2 and 11. And it reads, it says, "Then I looked on all the works that my hands had wrought, and on the labor that I had labored to do, and behold, all was vanity and vexation of spirit, and there was no profit under the sun." So in this book of Ecclesiastes, we find that this being King Solomon was taking a look at all that he had built and all that he had done. And he finds that it's all vanity. And I want to look up that word vanity. And I'm going to look it up in the blue letter. And it is H1892. And I'll give you a pronunciation of it.
Strong's H 1892. Hevel. Hevel.
All right, it says Hevel. It says vapor or breath. It says breath or vapor. I want to look at the root of the word, which is H 1891. And I'll give you a pronunciation of the root of the word.
Strong's H 1891. Havel. Havel.
All right, and it says to act emptily, to become vain, be vain, to be utterly vain, to fill with vain hopes. I'm going to drop down to the Strong's definition. It says to be vain in act, word, or expectation, specifically to lead astray. All right. So it's almost like it was all he had done, all he had built, it really didn't mean anything. All right, so we're going to go to Matthew chapter 6 and verse 19. And this is going to be in the red letter, so that means this is Yahweh Shai speaking. Matthew 6 and verse 19. And it reads, it says, lay up for yourselves treasures. Say, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where the thieves break through and steal. And I want to read this one in the NLT. It says, don't store up treasures here on earth, where moths eat them and rust destroys them, and where thieves break in and steal. So there's nothing wrong with saving up things or having things, but don't lose yourself in them. Don't think that they're more important than than the development of yourself and the learning of building up your spiritual side. When you find yourself doing anything to get these things, or anything to possess these things, or being very covetous. All right. And the next precept that I wanted to bring out is Luke 9 and 25. And this won't be a long lesson. I just have a few of these that I wanted to bring out. This is Luke 9:25. And this is also Yahushua speaking, because it is in the red letter. It says, "For what is a man advantage if he gain the whole world and lose himself or be cast away?" So when we hear this verse, you have to think about people like like celebrities. I ain't gonna name on nobody in specific, but you see a lot of these rich guys, and you have to think about what they had to do, the hoops that they had to jump through in order to have these riches, in order to be able to keep these riches. And I don't know if you notice a lot of these rappers, entertainers, you'll see them wearing sunglasses, and they wear those sunglasses for a reason. It's because it kind of a psychological things to themselves that they're hiding their eyes, hiding themselves for the world, because they know deep down inside a lot of the things that they've done or the things that they have to do in order to maintain these riches and keep these riches in this world. You know, they sell them souls, or they sell off family members' souls. You know, they do a lot of things that under normal circumstances they wouldn't do, but they got a taste of this life, and they want to maintain these things. They want to keep these things because they've got a taste of what they call a good life. You know, and then when they get that time to sit back and think, when they had that alone time and they reflect and self-reflect, they think about the things that they had to do in order to get those riches, the people that had to step on in order to get those riches. And I'm sure they find it vexing. They find it hurtful to their own souls when they think about what they had to do. But that's exactly what they did. They sold themselves out just for the riches of this world. Or you'll see a lot of these ball players. I ain't gonna just say just ball players. A lot of these entertaining Israelite men will go all out just to keep that woman in their life, or to please a woman. That reminds me of another scripture. I'll see if I can find this. A man losing his wits just for a woman. And I don't want to butcher it, so let me see if I can find it. Okay, that's First Esdras, chapter 4 and verse 26. And it says, yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes. And I don't want to get off the subject of what I'm bringing out, but I wanted to bring that out to show you that a lot of times men, once they get these riches and they get that woman that they've been chasing after for so long, and they realize that once they get that woman, that she wasn't wanting them, she was wanting what they have, and it can sometimes come to a very bitter end, where that woman ends up divorcing him, taking half of what he's made, what he's built up, and that's a very vexing thing to find out that the woman that you thought that you loved so much wasn't in love with you back. She was in love with your riches or the things that you could offer her. You know. But I'm gonna go on. I'm not gonna stay there. This will be the last precept that I bring out. And I'm gonna go to 1 John. Chapter 2 and verse 17. You know what? I'm going to start at verse 15, but my point is at verse 17. All right, so this is 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. It says, love says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. It says, if any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. So when you're lusting, that's a very worldly thing to have in you. And we'll look that word up, but I'm going to read verse 17. It says, and the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever. So when you're building on your spiritual side, and you're doing the things according to what the Most High, the commandments, the laws that the Most High has given us, then you're building up a treasure that's in heaven, just that's not of this world. It's nothing, something that's not anything that you can touch in this world or possess in this world, but it's riches that last forever, because it gives you that forever, that everlasting life. It gives you that ability to be present with the Father and with the Son. And I'm going to look up that word lust. And since we're in the New Testament, it'll be a Greek word, so it'll have the G in front of it. It is G 1939. And I'll give you a pronunciation of the word.
Strong's G 1939. Epithumia. Epithumia.
Epithumia. Says desire, craving, longing, desire for what is forbidden, lust. It says a longing for what is forbidden, concupiscences, desire, lust. So let's see what that word concupiscences is. And this will be according to Google. It says a strong sexual desire. So not only can you lust for things of this world, but you can also lust for someone else's possession, such as another Israelite man's wife or another man's wife, period. That's a worldly lust. All right. But like I said, this was not going to be very long. I just had a few precepts that I wanted to bring out, and I pray that this has been edifying to the listener. When I give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKadosh. Shalom.